our mission is to recruit, train, and elect. What that means is that this summer, we're rolling up our sleeves, actually next week, we're rolling up our sleeves and we're going door knocking. We've already hosted phone banks for candidates. So we are going to do what we can to make sure that we win in November and flip our state. Let's take back our state, y'all. Awesome. So now I'd like to introduce a couple folks to come and join me on the stage. I see Catherine Whiteford. She is our National Young Republicans co-chair. Catherine, join us. Got Lenny Chacon, chair of Washington State, just north of us. Tanner Elliott, the chair of Oregon State's Young Republicans. My friend and member Taryn Feist is going to be joining us, and then next to her is another member in Eastern Oregon, where I'm from, Ty Morrison. Please come on up to the stage. So if you guys can just start, and Tanner, we'll start with you and move this way down. Give us just a brief introduction to yourself, why you're at Dorchester, and why, more importantly, have you taken up the mantle to join the Young Republicans and be the chair? You've been chair for a year now, so please share.
Yeah. Well, I got my start in 2020. I worked for now Congressman Cliff Binns, helped his campaign. Worked on Stan Pulliam's gubernatorial campaign. There we go. Worked for Rep. Stout in the legislature, DBS. Where are you at? Wow, he missed me. And now work for Senator Mike McLean and also helping Patty Adair's campaign. She's running for CD5. But what got me going in the Young Republicans was just seeing an organization that, you know, there's people that I have common values with and common beliefs, and they're around my age, and, you know, building that community. You know, Calvin's like, hey, you should join this group called the Young I didn't even know what the Young Republicans was at the time. But joining it, and, you know, now I'm chair, and since I've been chair, we're now created 4 chapters. We had no chapters in this state. It was a uniparty chapter. We're about to create our 5th chapter in Southern Oregon. So we're growing, we're expanding, and we're going to keep doing that. So thank you all for being here. And Dorchester is the best conference in the state of Oregon.
Lenny, you want to continue?
So, actually, I was so enamored. What was the question?
Just introduce.
Okay, who am I?
Who are you, Lenny?
I was listening to his introduction there. So I'm Lenny Chacon, chairman of the Washington State Young Republicans, and I got involved in 2021. And I also became a PCO in Washington State. We call them PCOs, precinct committee officers, around that time. And I joined the organization at first to kind of find a social network. This is the middle of the lockdowns. Most of my friends were indoors, and I really had no one to hang around with. I was invited to my first YR meeting, and for many of you guys probably relate to this, the moment you show up in politics, you're voluntold or asked to volunteer. That's what happened to me. After my first meeting, I was asked to be the secretary, and I was like, what does the secretary do? Like, they take notes. I'm like, okay, I can do that. And so I became the secretary of my local chapter. So for about a couple months, this was like a fun thing to do. But then I went to my first Republican Party meeting, and that's what shifted my perspective on what YRs are. I remember to this day, I walked into a room about half the size of this, rows of chairs all the way going to the back, and maybe about 1/6 of the chairs were full. And of those 1/6 that were full, it was mostly a very older crowd. And then it dawned on me, I had been what I call myself a couch Republican my adult life. Somebody who liked to get upset at CNN, and Fox News and whatnot. But somehow I thought that the Republican Party in the end was gonna pull through. And then I met the Republican Party, and I realized they need help. So that's when this YR organization that started something really fun turned to a little bit more serious. And I realized that it was our job to find the youth, get them involved, get them trained, and farm them into Republican Party. That way, in the future, 5, 6, 7 years, maybe next time someone shows up to a room like that, it's no longer 1/6 full with an older crowd. Maybe it's half full or 60% full with much younger crowd. And so that's been my YR journey. And if I can't say again, let's give it a hand here to the Oregon Young Republicans. They've grown exponentially with Tanner's leadership, Calvin, Andy, and the whole board. They are amazing, and we are watching their growth, and it's fantastic. So let's give another clap for the Oregon Warriors.
Well, hello, guys. If you guys were here last year, you might remember me because I was on the panel last year. But I'm the co-chair for the Young Republican National Federation. I'm in my second term as that. I think when I spoke to you guys last, I was campaigning for re-election. And I ended up getting the most votes in that convention, so I appreciated that from my fellow Young Republicans. And I just wanted to mention, because Lenny made me think of this because he said he was a secretary. He's really breaking glass ceilings being a male secretary. I think that should be, that should deserve a clap as well. But in any case, for those that don't remember what I said last year about myself, I was the state chair for the Young Republicans in North Carolina for 4 years. And I started with 8 chapters across the state, ended my term with 32 chapters. And it was a lot of hard work. It's a lot of basically making it your full-time job aside from your actual full-time job. And it's very thankless. I think that people don't realize how much the state chair has to take on. There's a lot of inter-party politics where people are upset at you for something you have nothing to do with because a local chapter did something. And a lot of it is just conflict resolution is what a state chair has to do. And so Tanner is doing a good job from everything that I've heard, everything from this weekend and from last year. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to being with you guys on this panel today.
Thank you, Catherine. Taryn, why did you join the Young Republicans, and how are you involved in kind of the party, in the culture here in Oregon?
Well, I joined YRO. Well, first I joined my local Republican Party chapter, and I became a PCP. We've got a great chapter out in Columbia County, great leadership out there. Woo! In the house. And I actually was a part of that community first. And then, over time I ran into the YRO, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool that we have these young people in Oregon that are stepping up and starting to lead. I've been a part of Turning Point USA since 2020 as like an ambassador, they have a social media ambassador program. And I've seen firsthand what young people can do to change the culture in our country. And so to see organizations like YRO just organize and ignite all of these young people across our state, I want to be a part of that, and I want to support it. So it's been a joy getting to know you guys and see how active this group is. Outside of that, I'm the Oregon State Director for Women for Gun Rights. Like you said over there, I got voluntold into that position last year. It's been a great learning curve. I love it. I love following all the gun bills and the legislation. I love seeing what Derek LeBlanc and Tony are doing for gun rights in the state of Oregon. It's just so fun being in this fight, and I have to tell you guys, it is a fight. And then I'm also working as a campaign manager for State Rep Darcy Edwards in District 31, as well as doing some work with Tripp Dietrich, running for a Senate seat up in Oregon. So that's my story.
Nice. Thank you. And Mr. Eastern Oregon, Ty Morrison has been a buddy of mine for years now, went to EOU together. How did you get involved in the Young Republicans? Why are you still involved? And yeah.
It's because of a pet peeve, actually. I've always been somebody who, if you're going to complain about something, you shouldn't complain about it without somehow being a part of the solution. That led me to be involved in different things throughout my life of trying to fix things, solve problems. College, joined student government. Calvin really tied me in there, and upon graduating, he's like, hey, you should join the Young Republicans because we're also solving problems on much bigger issues and trying to cause change. And that's really what got me involved, was my relationship with Calvin, meeting Tanner, meeting Andy, being more involved and wanting to be a part of change. I'm not big time like all these guys are. I'm just rancher from Eastern Oregon, grew up doing it, and I work more just remotely, helping with posting, helping with social media side of helping outreach to the different crowds that YRO can service.
Ty is being very humble, by the way. He really helps us with our social media apparatus. So that's kind of our main discussion topic for today, is social media and messaging that works and helps motivate young Republicans to show up and vote, or if not, to go knock doors and phone bank. Kind of an open question to any of you guys right now. what actually works right now on social media? I know all of us run different socials here, and is it Instagram? Is it TikTok, X, or Twitter, whatever? And what's outdated? What are your guys' thoughts? Darren, I think you're the expert on this if you want to start off.
I don't know if I'm an expert on it. What's working and what's not?
Yeah.
Well, as long as the content is right, it really doesn't matter what platform it's on. Each platform offers something very different and has very different audiences. X, for example, seems to be a little bit more news focused. And I would say the people that use X are more millennials, but they're very engaged millennials. The people on X, they have opinions and they know what's going on. Oftentimes, narratives begin and stories begin on X before you start seeing them on other platforms. So if you want to be the first to know of a breaking story, you're going to want to be on X. Facebook, that's more millennials and, 30s to 60s. You got a lot of those folks on Facebook. If you're just starting social media for the first time, I'd say start on Facebook if that's kind of the age bracket you're trying to reach. Instagram is more of a visual platform. If you're all into posting videos and reels and that kind of stuff and photos and really artistic things, you're going to want to be on Instagram. So it really depends on the content that you're posting, where you want to be.
Awesome. Thank you. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that question?
Yeah, I would just echo exactly the same thing. Different platforms specialize in different demographics, but just posting consistently and posting is already going to be a benefit. I've worked with different county parties back home, candidates, and they don't post. The one county party, and I'm not going to name names, they got a dinner coming up, but if you go on their Facebook page, they're still advertising last year's dinner. That's the most recent post. And then I was at one of their meetings, and they're like, we haven't sold not even half the tickets. I'm like, post on social media and constantly post your dinner. So just putting the content out there, it's already going to be a benefit. And yeah, understand that there are different demographics. You can get the younger crowd on Instagram, a bit of an older crowd on Facebook, but just get your information out there, get your brand out there, post consistently, and you'll start to see some results.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, but I think that promoting your events with showing, especially if it's an event that you've already done in the past, promoting it with varieties of different like pictures or some short reels or videos from the previous event to advertise, hey, this was really fun last year, you should come to this one. To use a home example, the Charlotte Young Republicans, they're doing a derby party next weekend, and they did this last year, which is the first time they did it, but it was a huge success. They had our state party chairman there, and they sold out. And so what they've been doing, because it's coming up next weekend, for the last month, they've just been posting different photos with attractive women. That's very helpful. Attractive people just in general, just because people want to be around attractive people, but also they want to see people that look normal. So if it looks like it was a fun time last year, people that maybe have never been to your events are going to want to come because those people look like people they want to be friends with. But I've really enjoyed seeing their content because I'm the one over here procrastinating not buying my ticket. But every single time they post, I'm like, oh crap, I need to go ahead and buy my ticket. And so they've been doing a really good job with promotion. So I think that's really effective.
I'm glad Catherine's here dropping the truth bombs. I didn't know how real we're going to get with it. But what she said is real true. I try to limit as many times that I'm on there and put my better looking YRs on social media. So thank you for speaking the truth.
Well, and I just want to add, Facebook is still king when it comes to social media, in my opinion, but it's not the future. The future is going to be the 10, and it's not press releases either being pushed on social media. Nobody reads it. That's just the world we live in. People's attention spans are getting shorter. It's the 10 to 15-second reels that people are going to watch. Put your point out, make it fun, make it creative, make it different. And a video that we actually did, Calvin filmed it, outside of the Capitol, was one that actually got 60,000 views. And we had a feeling it was going to kind of pop off, but we didn't, it just, but it was Don't Tax My Zen. And it was just a quick 20-second video, and so it's the future is the 10 to 15-second, 30-second reels.
Interesting. So I'm kind of here at a couple different philosophies of thought. does the platform matter more, or is it the content is king? Good content, or is it kind of a mix of both? Are we thinking?
I personally think in diversifying the platforms, not just posting on a single platform. Because if you're looking to try to grab the elder millennials, as some of us call them, they're probably more so on Facebook. But if you're looking for people that are on like the Gen Z side of things, millennial, a lot of the teenagers are on Instagram, but not on Facebook at all. There's a lot of people in my age group that are not on Facebook at all. So Instagram, I feel like they're on more so. I feel like X is not really, if you're promoting an event, X is not really the most helpful for that. Like what she was saying earlier, it's more so for news. And like press releases, if you want like different reporters to kind of catch onto something that you're posting about, it's a bit of a different platform for that purpose.
Thank you for sharing. All right, Lenny, I know we were talking about this off stage. How do you deal with hostile comments, misinformation, or attacks online to your members and to your organization?
I just tag at Calvin Bennett at all the hostile comments.
Whoa.
No, we have a philosophy. The Washington YRs, the leadership, hear me say this constantly. Combat negativity with positivity. That's been our philosophy. So when there's people out there that are saying all these crazy conspiracy theories that we get money from Soros, I don't know, we're aliens or lizard people, whatever it is they want to say, we don't really address it. It's stupid. Mm-hmm. It's a waste of your time. The best revenge is to be successful. So post, if you're county LD, if you're part of a conservative organization, post your successes. Post yourself out there being active, growing, engaging, and those haters are just gonna fume and they're gonna rage, follow you, and look at the stuff. So combat negativity, positivity. Occasionally we will engage, because what some of these people don't realize is if they comment on our posts, they're telling the algorithm that we're important enough to be engaged with. And so on the really dumb ones, we might engage a bit and make a little, not like a snarky comment, but like, be like, why do you mean this? Or where's this coming from? Or something like that, just to bait them in more comments, and they'll write a huge, long manifesto. And it's just really just to have them keep posting, commenting on our posts to let Facebook know that we're worth engaging. And then that boosts the chances of our posts now being shown to other people. But most of the time, like 18 out of 20 times, we don't engage. And it's just, we follow combat negativity with positivity. So just be positive, show your growth, show you're successful, and that is ultimately the best win and revenge on the haters.
Can I add to that?
Yes, please.
So if one of the social media accounts for Young Republican chapters I would highly recommend you follow is the Tampa Bay Young Republicans, because they have some very fun events. They had a very creative idea recently, and obviously the Iran war is a controversial topic, but they just kind of went right into it. And so they had an event a few weeks ago, this was back in March, early March, where they did a Persian Girls Spring, Arabian Nights pool party. And basically they had the picture was with them taking their burqa off and revealing their bikinis. It was hilarious. It got a lot of social media buzz. So many people were sharing that because they thought it was hilarious. Other people were just angry. And the amount of negative comments on there's quite a few. But like what Lenny was saying, they're just boosting the event. And most people just thought it was hilarious and went. So
does controversy mean attention? Is that something that folks should try to implement in the Republican Party? Is that your guys' thoughts? Is there disagreements to that?
I would say a bit. So I did take some lessons from the Tampa Bay YRs several years ago and try to spicy up some of the way we advertise some of our events. For example, I sit on a couple other boards up in Washington, and when we have a speaker, I try to make the advertisement as salacious or as captivating as I can to get butts in a seat for the meetings. An example we had last year, we had a gentleman who was poll watching, and COVID's been gone for a while, but in his county, for some reason, I don't know who it is, the commissioner there mandated that you had to wear masks while watching the polls, even though the counters were not wearing masks. So he didn't know that. He showed up without a mask. He got arrested. It's a whole long story. So he was speaking at this meeting, and what I did to advertise it is I put his photo on a flyer, and I put like barbed wire in the back and like felon on there, and made it just very catchy. And some of the people on the board are like, "Don't, let's not do that. Let's put like a bio." I'm like, no one's gonna read the bio. You want to tell a story through imagery. Use as little words as possible, and that was a very full, sold-out crowd for that meeting because everyone wanted to come by and see this potential felon to be thrown in jail for poll watching. But if I put his bio in there that he was the county GOP chair, he ran for Congress, all these things, no one's going to read that. So, a certain sense, yes, there is some hype to the social media that you want to play with. But I'm in Washington, so we don't really have bikini weather there. So, I'll leave that to the Tampa Bay Wires.
Over here, guys, what are your thoughts? If controversy brings attention, is that something folks should try to take advantage of?
I think definitely. To a degree, any attention or any interaction is going to bring more views. I think when it's something very obvious, when it's something very simple, where it's like, okay, this person is just mad about, you can't make this person happy, absolutely engage them and not make fun of them, but kind of low-key make fun of them because it's so obvious what they're saying is wrong. And that engagement, people are going to laugh at that. They're going to find your post funny. They're going to find the fact that you made fun of somebody who said something really stupid funny. And it's going to increase engagement even more. I will say perception is reality on social media. So if there is a topic or something that continues to get worse and worse and worse, and now people are perceiving that this is a real thing, you need to address that honestly and with transparency and be real about it. But aside from that, have fun with it. Make fun of the haters because they're making fun of you.
Yeah. I would say that the majority of my social media content lives inside a pretty conservative bubble until something kind of hits a nerve of the left and it shoots out and gets a little bit more viral. That's when the nasty comments come into my feeds. And I will tell you, because my followers are just great followers and they're other fellow Oregonians, I rarely engage with negative comments on my social media. And if anybody engages with them, it's one, my overprotective husband, because he does not like when people say unnice things about his wife. And I'm like, honey, you don't need to do that. They're just clowns. They're not even real people. They're keyboard warriors. Or it's other followers that get on there and combat them. But most of the times when people come at me with really nasty comments on social, it's not about the topic that we're talking about. It's a direct attack at me. It's an insult. It's a you're racist. It's a you're ugly. It's a your lips are too big. It's your hair. It's always a negative attack in that way. It's not an actual attack on the topic that I'm sharing. It's not the news story. So to me, that tells me, why would we give those people the time of day? Just, and if they want to get into a little fight on my feed, great. Let it grow my algorithm, Let the content push forward. But I choose not to engage with those people 99% of the time.
Awesome. I'm going to be asking this next question of all of you. What are some practical takeaways that the audience can go home with to boost their social media strategy? Tips, tricks?
Post. Just post. Right now, pretty much every algorithm is rewarding every account that is constantly putting content out. If you're putting content out once a week, you're not going to get seen. If you're putting content out 2 or 3 times a day, you're going to get seen because there's mass content going out. It's very difficult to stay on top of that many posts and that much social media. So what I would say is pick one day, get 8 hours of content. I don't know, pick a number and get as many hours of content as you can, and then schedule that so you can schedule posts to go out automatically. Schedule those to go out for the whole month, so you're getting at least 1 post a day. That type of content is constantly going out. Somebody is bound to see it, and it also gives you the opportunity to try and reach into different niches, and with those different audiences, you can reach a wider audience.
You want it?
I would say when it comes to creating good social media content, yes, of course, consistency is key, but the content matters. So people, if you're just posting selfies, not that that's what this room would be doing, but if you're posting content that people don't really care about, they're not going to share it, and it's not going to get a lot of likes. So in order to, I'm just going to ask you guys a question. Does anybody send reels to their friends on Instagram or Facebook constantly? Sisters, friends? What is the topic of those reels? Are they funny? Are they funny reels? I send funny reels back and forth to my sisters all day, every day. Anybody else in here? Yeah, that's right. Lots of people. So if you want content that's going to like go viral on the internet, it needs to be funny. Funny is a good category to go viral. Or it needs to be educational. You have to be teaching something to your audience. Otherwise, they're just going to go to the next person. That's why I like talking about legislation and bills and things going on in Oregon, because I get to tell people about what's happening in Salem. Otherwise, they might not know about that, and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that bill was happening. I had no idea that vote went that way. Well, I'm going to get online, and I'm going to tell them about it, and then they're going to share it, and that post is going to get 50,000 views, just like that. It's wild. So, funny, educational, or the last golden ticket when it comes to content is food. So those foodie pages, people love sharing good food posts. So, and of course, I don't know why this is, but I learned this a long time ago, and I have to agree. The color red pops on social media, and like they say, sex sells. Of course, we're conservatives in this room, but like she was saying, beautiful women and beautiful, happy people looking happy and having fun in posts and online at barbecues, doing community things, but that joy and that happiness and, that does do well on social media.
Yeah. Well, and us as conservative women, we can look very beautiful and modest at the same time, so you don't have to compromise yourself either. I do want to say that the ChatGPT graphics are not great, so please do not make that the thing that replaces using Canva or something that actually looks organic. Everybody that's under 40 can clock that you use ChatGPT, and it doesn't look great. And there was a county GOP that I saw in my state. They were going to have our U.S. Senate candidate, our former RNC chair, Michael Whatley, speaking, and so they did like this AI-generated photo of him in the graphic, but he looked like a completely different person. Like he was fatter for some reason. Anyway, so point being is that it's not always great. Canva is free, so I would recommend that you use some platform like that. And then also for me, because she was talking about educational videos, my most viral video is on Instagram. I think it has 250,000 views at this point, but it was when I gave a speech on the Hill with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna regarding the persecution of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. And so I was just talking about the issue itself and why people should care, because our tax dollars are going to Ukraine, so we should care that Christians are being persecuted without us knowing about it. So that is something that even though it's been since December of last year that happened, I still am seeing people sharing it, liking it, and more people are following me from that video, even though it's been so long.
I would say the same thing about the ChatGPT flyers. I roll my eyes when I see those. I've been seeing in comments people saying, stop using AI to make flyers. I don't mean this to be rude, but when I see those, I just think, boomer. That's what comes to mind. And so, yeah, find a YR, get a young person, do it. Really just find a YR. That's kind of what we're doing in Washington State. A lot of the state party, the county parties, different organizations are getting YRs either on their board or part of their group to start doing their flyers and doing their flyers and graphic design. That's what I recommend. Find a YR, give him a job, or if you can convince him, do it for free. But get a YR to do it for you.
Well, just give it 2 years, and AI, you won't be hearing that anymore about AI graphics.
That might be true.
I would say that, first off, Senator McLean, the Oregon panel discussion podcast, where is he at? Back there, I see him back there. Mm-hmm. You see that. There's been no money put in it, and it's now at 15,000 followers on Instagram. It's continuing to grow. What you need to post is either what's hot in the moment or something educational. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do hot in the moment, you're going to be more controversial. If you're going to do educational, make it simple. And that is how you'll get, and then also posting at certain times you get more engagement on your post. So figuring out that algorithm. I mean, we'll post stuff that we think might go off and it doesn't, then things that we don't expect to go off does. And it's just difficult to figure that out. So
Yeah. Thank you, Tanner.
I guess add one more thing, Calvin.
Oh, yeah.
The simple basics, I would say, to social media in any case, is you need to be authentic to yourself so that people, when they go to your account, they can instantly see in 2, 3, 4 posts who you are and what kind of person you are. They want to see somebody they can relate to in some way, shape, or form. Once that basis is built and they realize that you're a real person, you're not ChatGPT, then they're going to be more interested in other content you have. So that when you do post something, speaking on an issue, speaking on a bill, they're going to be more receptive to what you have to say and interested in what's going on.
Well, thank you guys. It's time to wrap up our panel. Really appreciate you guys being here. Just wanted to give a few plugs real quick. The Young Republicans, we're all over the state. Like Tanner said, we're about to have 5 different chapters in different corners of the state. You can learn more about us by going to our website, yro.gop. And wanted to give a huge thank you to the conference and to the Jason Williams Intern and Young Republicans Fund. Because of that fund, we're able to have so many young Republicans here. So please give it a hand up to Jason Williams and these panelists.